Welcome back to my channel Adam's Adventures, and today I have visited another finest castle which doesn't seem to be like the one that you normally view until you see it for yourself. Built in the early 17th century, the castle was laid on older foundations of earthworks and ruins from a 12th century medieval castle. Just to give a much brief of the Normans and medieval times, it was mostly attacked and vaulted through as every king and nobleman wanted a piece of this beloved castle. The very true style of this setting of the castle comes from the Cavendish family from the 1600s. Sir Charles Cavendish had wanted this castle as a retreat from his principal seat at Welbeck. The terrace ruins part of the castle here you see was well designed and had numerous of tapestries, ornaments and court furnitures of extremely expensive items would have been on display. Remember, this was a castle of guests for entertainment of arts and culture with the wealthy. Later on, the roof and its timber had to be torn down for paying off debts and reconstruction of the little castle. It was such a sacrifice which had no other choice. Looking through the terrace part, I must say this has to be one of the largest kitchens ever, with never-ending room links that lead straight into the great hall and dining rooms for all guests. The design of the little castle was intended to invoke a Norman great tower, which it clearly represents, viewed from a distance, rising sheer from the cliff. Working with the Cavendish was a famous builder and an artwork designer, Robert Smithson, and that by 1614 and 1617 both men passed away, this castle was only partly built. His two sons, William and John, who was influenced by the architect Ingoa Jones, carried on developing this castle to its standards, and the tower known as Little Castle was completed by 1621. William was such a playboy at the time that he wanted this castle as a lavish and exotic lifestyle rather just for defences of up-and-coming barrage attacks, which would later be the English Civil War. The construction of the castle was interrupted by the Civil War from 1642 to 1651, to which the parliamentarians took over and started to destroy some of the grounds and looted rooms of the castle to leave it in a short-term ruined state. William Cavendish, who was created Marquis of Newcastle in 1643 and Duke of Newcastle upon Tyne in 1665, added a new hall and staterooms to the terrace range, and by the time of his death in 1676 the castle had been restored to good order. The main usage of the building extended over 20 years, and it is presumed that the family lived at the castle towards the end of that period. It then passed through Margaret Bentinck, Duchess of Portland, into the Bentinck family, and ultimately became one of the seats of the Earls and Dukes of Portland. After 1883, the castle was uninhabited, and from 1945 it was given to the nation by the 7th Duke of Portland. The castle is now in the care of English Heritage. The landscape definitely was one of its kind, with William owning more estates in the area, with the other two being Old Hardwick Hall and Owl Coates, which is lost and forgotten now. Looking over Derbyshire, you'll see another building, Sutton Scarsdale Hall, which was owned by another nobleman, Sir Francis Leake, but I'll get to that on another video. Here, nobody really knows why there are 4 mini towers in the castle courtyard. It possibly would have become a decor setting, or as well for extra privacy for guests to enjoy private entertainment. Going through the little castle, many wonders of rooms is a perfect example of how well some of them was designed for guests. Also, there are many more kitchen rooms on the lower part of the castle where it's just a simply maze when looking through. The interior continues the impression with massive round Romanesque vaults in the basement and pointed Gothic ones on the entrance floor. The great windows off the upper floors were designed to give panoramic views across the landscape. Inside the inner garden area where the little castle sits would have been the most elegant and wonderful of all sorts of flowers, plants, scrubs and many other garden ornaments for the guests to enjoy, with the Venus water fountain in the middle of it. With its tightly niches and secret chambers under the walls, there were plenty of much more intimate banquets that only yourself can imagine what would have gone on behind these closed doors. The Riding House is one of the most early designs and existed from the original date. No other one is recorded as of yet. As you will see in here, would have been many ongoings for equestrian facilities, mostly down to showing off the riders' horses with pride and joy. To me, with this such castle, it's certainly a romantic, ornate and poetic palace to visit as a guest of the time of period. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel for many more adventures in the near future.